G'day, it's Picken here. I'm coming live from Dubai, and I wanted to give you this week's wealth insight. And I thought this week what we'll do is we'll get real. I got a very interesting email just yesterday from a gentleman that came to our RAND webinar. I thought I'd actually read it. It's from a guy called Steve, and I think this will give you some really good insights. I've been to a few of your talks. I'm one of the people that watched James talk about the Rand's collapse when it was 760, but I didn't perceive I had the cash to play in the league of your clients. I run my own business. It tends to be good and bad, like a roller coaster, and so I always feel disempowered to make positive investment decisions. Could I also be a cuck businessman? Can I ask a few questions and get candid answers so I don't waste your time? What typically is the net worth of your investors? So I think really that one is a great question, because it's not about the amount of money they've got in their bank, but the mindset that they've got in their heads, and it literally goes from people with no money through to people with literally billions of random dollars. So I think, it is a wide spectrum. I bought my first property when I was 22 years old with no money. I've partnered in every single deal I've ever done, and I think a lot of people think that they need to do deals only when they've got money, and actually it's a mindset. It's about the value you can bring to other people. If you have a philosophy of partnering, you can always find people where you can bring value to the partnership. And secondly, if you're creative, you can always create value in terms of how you do it. What do your typical investors earn? Again, how long is a piece of string? When I bought my first property in London, I was earning £7 an hour. So really, for me, it's absolutely no excuse. In fact, I did my first project when I was 13, and we actually did a development project when I was 19 at varsity, and I was earning nothing. So again, for me, it's about the mindset. I would highly recommend reading a book called Think and Grow Rich, and you're actually as wealthy as your mind perceives you to be. What kind of free cash is about the right time to play the game? For me, it's as soon as you can buy a book. So go and buy yourself Think and Grow Rich, go and buy yourself Real Estate Riches, go and buy yourself Awaken the Giant Within, just to name 3 major books that have had a massive influence on my life. And if you can buy a book and then you can implement what you learn in the book, it's not about the money, it's about the skills, it's about creating value, it's about adding value to other people, it's about finding people that you can partner with. People that have lots of money often don't have lots of time. People with lots of time often don't have lots of money. So if you find good deals, it's a great way to partner. And as an example, our first property that we bought in Cape Town and we did the development, I didn't have the deposit. And so me and my friend partnered with 2 investors. They had the ability to get the mortgage, to put down the deposit. We had the ability to get the mortgage. We did a 50-50 deal. It had R4 zoning. It was an old house. It had R4 zoning. We basically got the planning through. We redeveloped that into 6 townhouses. And literally in my early 20s, I made over 2 million Rand, or over $200,000 in profit. Now, a lot of people have a mindset of, what am I losing? And my attitude is that a lot of people don't want to partner with people because they're going to lose something. My attitude is 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Certainly for me, 2 million Rand between me and my friend, who was my partner, was certainly well worth our 50% investment. Can one invest monthly? If so, what size of investment is worth looking at? And it's a great question. At the moment, from a crowdfunding perspective, we haven't been able to get that off the ground, but it is certainly something we want to bring to market in 2016, because actually it's the financial discipline of investing monthly. The reason I loved real estate is that I bought my first property in London when I was 24, and while my friends were spending their money on basically bars and beers, we were forced every single month to pay our mortgage. And it's one of the greatest savings or investment strategies you can have, because the bank doesn't care what your excuses are. You have to pay your mortgage every month. And so for me, the monthly discipline is hugely positive. And then lastly says, I've always enjoyed your workshops, but I always feel like the learner driver at the advanced driving school. Interesting, but the wrong league. And I think that's a great thing. And I'd say to you, Steve, my belief is in life, you're only as good as the people you hang around. Every single year I strive to be in an environment where I'm the dumbest, poorest person in the room. I just went to an event in Los Angeles called Abundance 360, which is the top 250 technologists and entrepreneurs in the world, figuring out how to use technology to impact 1 billion people and to create $1 billion companies. And I certainly felt like the poorest, dumbest person in the room. And it's not a fun environment to be in, but it really helps you to stretch. I was on Necker Island last year with Richard Branson and 20 phenomenal entrepreneurs. I've been to Tony Robbins' island in Fiji, and I could give you countless experiences where I've put myself out there. I've put myself in an environment where I'm the dumbest and poorest person. But if you're consistently doing that, then you effectively are going to be growing or stretching. And I leave you with a story. In August 2010, I was at an event. It cost $30,000 to be there. And I met a guy, and he said, how do you do this? You do this 4 times a year. He said, listen, I basically make sure that I make my $30,000 back within 30 days. And at the time I was selling off-plan developments. I had no way to make money. I knew how to make money by selling off-plan developments, but I only got paid in 2 years. And what was really interesting is I went home at the end of August, and just by asking a different question, I figured out how to make $45,000 in my bank account in less than 40 days. And it changed my life, because now I could create a business where I could hire good people because I could pay them in that month. And they could make really good money. And so for me, that whole event cost me over 500,000 Rand to go to. And my mother and everyone else thought I was absolutely stark staring mad. And yet I made that money back within literally a month or two. And my business and my personal life and my financial life and my business life has just gone through the roof. From literally that one experience, meeting that one person, asking one different question. So I highly recommend you continue to be the learner driver in an advanced driving school. Maybe you should run a webinar that deals with the detail of exactly what's required in low, medium and high terms, so that people like me can make more positive decisions than standing on the sidelines. Great idea. Steve, I've run many courses on how to buy a house. In fact, I actually own the website How to Buy a House in Afrikaans, English, Zulu, Xhosa and Soto. And so maybe it's time to not just have webinars around the advanced side of things like international and commercial, but get down to the basics of residential as well and getting started. The final thing I would say to every single person, and this is my wealth insight for the week: no one ever learned to swim by reading a book. You've got to be able to jump in the pool. You've got to know that you're going to make mistakes. You've got to know that it takes at least 10 years to master any skill. And so find something that you're passionate about and then do whatever it takes to master that skill. And most importantly, hang around people that are more successful than you, more wealthy than you, because they will pull you up. Don't hang around people that are below you, because then you're just another monkey in the room and the monkeys will drag you down. It's your choice. That's my wealth insight, coming live from Dubai. Hope you enjoy it. Cheers. Oh, and by the way, as always, share it with your friends if you think it'll be valuable. We're giving this out for free with the intention, our mission at the Wealth Movement is to empower 1 billion people. Let's help people do that. Let's change people's mindsets. Let's create a better and more sustainable planet for all. Go to thewealthmovement.com if you're interested to find out about that as well. But most of all, subscribe to this channel and I'll continue to bring you weekly insights. The next one from Shanghai. Cheers.